Welcome, everyone. We are here to discuss today our new upcoming 8-day cellular transformation workshop that is a whole new format that we've never done before. And we're calling it Deepening into Cellular Transformation. So, to begin with, just very briefly, this structure where it's over 8 days with an arrival day and a departure day and 8 days in between. And I will be holding the usual 4 full days or thereabouts of a CT workshop with myself. That stays, that doesn't change. And that we will have a day off, quote unquote, a day off, where we're still in the field, of course. And then we have this additional time. And that's what I am so excited about. And that's where Kanika and Sadamo will be facilitating some new, unique structure that we are designing and with Spirit's help, of course. So we would like to take a moment now and discuss the content a little bit of the content. And I want to open it with why. I'm going to start with a question just to get the flow going. Why do we feel like it's time to introduce a new format to something that's already so potent and powerful? Who would like to answer?
We have a couple of angles to answer it from, but I'll take the first one, which was just the time, collective time. Like, so there's of course the part of the CT and why it's just also time in the CT community and field to take it to another level. But there's also just the time of where the world's at and the feeling of like, how can we personally contribute to holding some kind of center in the madness that's going on? And that's, yeah, just really alive for many of us in these times.
Yeah, for me, I mean, it's a lot about like looking at let's say the CT family, everyone who's been coming to see cellular transformation workshops for a long time, and the structure's been built, like from coming to workshop and learning the structure, and now like finding a new way to really push that edge inside of each one of us of what is that place that kind of terrifies us to go, that really puts us out there even a little bit more. And of course, we have some very exciting things with that to
To
really
help
help
push
push
through
those
your edge.
edges in
Exactly.
each of us.
Yeah, absolutely. What really excites me is I feel so many of us who've been in the cellular transformation process for some time now have really embodied the structure quite deeply. And my personal experience when I was a student of the light, where I was sitting in workshops and receiving a lot of the structure, not holding space as a teacher, but receiving, there came a point after a period of time where I had sat in those spaces so often and taken my body through this cellular transformation process where the light goes in and it digs out all those old traumas and behavior patterns that are creating suffering. Not all of them. I'll be continuing the process until I take my last breath. But what I observed in my experience was there came a point of transition where I went from solely being, let's say, the student to something inside pushing me to step into a role of holding space. So, a place of more responsibility as a custodian of this structure and process, in a sense, to pay forward the gifts it had given me of transformation. And I feel like it's time for all of us to go through that transition. That's
Yeah,
how I feel.
yeah,
Yeah. And even as you said that, like, because one of the big keys that keeps coming up as we share about it is that place of being a custodian, right? So like we're in workshop, we learn it, we move through these things, we clear out, all of our own blockages and we're there in it. And then to be that custodian that takes it into the world even more than we have been. So whether it's into our relationships, to be the custodian in our relationship with the light, or whether it's at work or wherever it's at, that like to step more up into that role of just being a custodian of the light.
And
Exactly.
we often mention that it might look very, very different to each and every one of us. So it's not so much about necessarily being a facilitator of cellular transformation in the form that we do it, but that it will come through each and every one of us in a very unique way and will ask us how it wants to move in our lives. So, I mean, we're really excited because we really feel actually on one level it's already happening. That's what we were seeing in the field. It's already happening. And somehow, how can we support each other in taking that next leap and becoming conscious of that process of expansion as a channel for
Hmm.
your own relationship to spirit, really.
Exactly. I feel that even though many of you would have no interest, and it may not be your thing to be a CT facilitator per se, nor should it be. But every single one of us is a facilitator of the light. And that's the spilling over point. And we want to help you. I feel the energy wants to help you to find that edge. Where might we still be holding back from following the energy as it's pulling us forward somewhere, but we're hesitating out of fear? The usual fears, fears of rocking the boat, fears of change. We may not know what it is consciously. Some of you might come and everything's great, but I'm pretty sure that when we get together and the light's pumping and coming through, that we're going to be taken and shown, taken to that edge, shown what it is and expose it and uncover it. And then take the step that we need to take to break through, you know?
Which I feel already brings us to the question of who is this workshop for? Well, first of all, for those that feel excited about that prospect of finding that next edge in themselves, obviously. Also, in maybe even feeling already that, okay, I have embodied the structure and somehow how can I bring it into the world more? Yeah. But for sure, on a practical note, it's for those that have done a workshop with either one of us before, so have sat in the CT space and have, yeah, been part of the transformational process with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for anyone also that has like kind of sat in workshop and is feeling everything and like listening and trusting and but not backing it up yet. And I think that this workshop is going to give that space to like really find that edge of speaking up, sharing, and not just sitting so much back in the observer consciousness and allowing the process to happen, but taking a little bit more of a lean in to hold more of it.
And in a way, take responsibility and take charge for that transformational process rather than us doing it for you. So really just practicing, learning, but also what does that look like in your lives, basically.
Yeah. And in other words, where in your life might you still be a little bit stuck in, where let's say the energy is pulling you to step into a place of greater authority as a channel of this intelligence, and where you might be hesitating because it feels like a leap. It's just scary, right? Fear. And so where you don't take that step forward, however that looks for you, it would be totally unique to you in your world, your relationships. But where might you not be taking that step? And instead, when that hesitation manifests as some sort of contraction, some sort of layer, some sort of stuckness, that then your automatic mechanism is what's wrong with me? Or this is about me and it must be some part of that old behavior that I'm still stuck in and I need to go to another workshop to work on it. And instead of getting trapped in what that you could call that the small self, it's no, let's get bigger than all of that. Let's break out of that. Let's move forward because there's a momentum and a movement happening. It's part of why the film's happening. There's something's trying to expand bigger and it wants to get out. I'm saying it, the intelligence, the wisdom, the healing energy that we've all been sitting in and working with, that I'm completely devoted to, that many of you are all completely devoted to now, it wants to expand itself through us. So ultimately, we're coming together to figure out how we can support that process. And we're going to help you figure that out. We're going to help each other individually and collectively together figure out what might be a new edge, another edge for me that I can step over and beyond to serve spirit more, to serve this growth, to take more responsibility as a person who has worked their ass off over the last how many years, whether it's in CT or not, but worked very hard on clearing out my cellular closet and healing my history and facing my trauma memories and taking ownership and feedback for yucky behavior patterns. And okay, I've done a lot of hard work. Well, now the universe has sent time to pay it forward. So how can I uniquely, if I'm an artist, I'm a singer, I work in the corporate world, I'm not just a therapist who works with people. We're all of it, right? But how can the light uniquely work through our channel to spread this structure to touch
Mhm.
more people? Like that's what I get excited about. It wants to grow, it wants to expand. And that's not just my responsibility, or Kanika's and Sadamo's, that's all of our responsibility to support this light and getting bigger in the world. We're all little mini gold mines. We're sitting on a lot of wisdom. And what are we just going to hoard it, or are we going to share it? So if you feel a little bit stuck on how you could share this gold that you carry, that of who you are, this wisdom, then let's come together and spend 8 days and we'll figure it out with Spirit's help, of course.
There's so much more to share, but we'll leave it here, I think, just to give you a feel for it, and then everything content-wise, you'll have to just
The
experience it.
surprise.
Exactly.
Lots of surprises.
We so look forward to seeing you. Mwah. Thanks, everyone. Yay.